as a Christian novelist, all my books can have a redemptive message. And no matter how, my books are not dark, they just, that I try to push the edge. And then in the end, there can be a redemptive message and readers can feel good and they can feel, renewed, I guess, at the end, like, and filled with hope.
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to A Writer's Day podcast. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today on A Writer's Day podcast. My name is Ruth Douthit, and I'm an award-winning, multi-published author of books for kids and adults in fiction and nonfiction. And if you like what you hear, please be sure to subscribe and follow me and leave a review. I'd love to know what you think of A Writer's Day podcast. And head over to my website to learn more about my upcoming releases like The Secrets of Worthington Orphanage. That's right, this is the prequel to my award-winning series, books The Children Under the Ice, The Children in the Garden, and The Children of Manor House. And those of you who have read that series know that Ruby Worthington is mentioned in the last book, and this mysterious, woman who started this orphanage. Who is she? How did it come to be? And what went wrong? You'll find out all of those details in the prequel, The Secrets of Worthington Orphanage. It's a good old-fashioned spooky ghost story. And I think that you'll really enjoy it. So head over to my website and sign up for my newsletter to learn more about my upcoming projects. And you can pre-order The Secrets of Worthington Orphanage right now on Amazon. Okay, let's get started with our new interview with the amazing Elizabeth Goddard. She is the USA Today bestselling and Christy Award-winning author of more than 60 novels, wow, including Cold Light of Day and Shadows at Dusk. And now she has a new series. Wow, I'm so excited to talk to her about the Hidden Bay series and book 1, Storm Warning. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, kick back and relax as we listen to Elizabeth Goddard talk about her new book. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so excited to have my friend, best-selling author Elizabeth Goddard here today to talk about her new book. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. Can't believe it.
And what have you been up to? How is your new year starting?
Oh, well, I turned in a book this weekend. I moved actually over November. I spent moving over Thanksgiving holidays, and so it's just been a mad rush to get ready for Christmas and all the family. And then after Christmas was over, I've just been working very hard on my book that was due February 1. And that's what my life's been about. So
yeah, writing and family and deadlines.
Yeah, leaves her head spinning, and the next thing you know, a whole year has gone by. Here we are.
How many books a year do they ask you to release now over at
Well, I was doing just one a year with them, or a book every 9 months, but this new contract, this new series I've got coming out, we're going to release every 6 months, the book.
Wow.
So that's two a year. So
your readers, your readers will be so happy about that.
I know. They want books really fast. So this is.
Yeah, I find that's the trend now. And even with these traditional publishers, they're starting to ask for a couple books a year now, which is exciting, I think.
Oh yeah. And I have discovered that I don't care if it's 9 months or a year or 6 months. I pretty much write my book. I just, whatever the time is how long it will take me to write the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, has your writing process changed over the years?
Oh, definitely. I would say it's changed. I started out writing for Heart Song and Love Inspire Suspense. And for them, I had to write a full synopsis, what happens every chapter, that kind of thing. For Ravel, I have just really shifted to being, instead of plotting or outlining, more middle of the road, or even more leaning towards seat of the pants. And I just I have a loose idea in my head, but since Ravel doesn't require me to up front say this is everything that's going to happen, which I love, it gives me the freedom to explore, and I take full advantage of that. And so my process is, I would say it's a messy process because, it's that first draft is just a really big mess that I have to clean up. But I have the freedom to explore and, push to the edge and do as much as I can with it. So I really enjoy that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I would see that now that you've, been with Ravel for a while, you've earned that freedom to just, they trust you and your readers trust you. So that's exciting.
It
I
is.
love,
I feel like I have been given the ability to spread my wings and fly, to use that metaphor.
sure. And are you still writing for Love Inspired Suspense?
I have taken a short break. I took, I think my last book with them came out last year, and right now, while I'm just really focusing on 2 books a year for Vel, I'm taking a break, and I haven't
Sure.
sent the new contract in, which is the first time since I started writing for them in 2011, I believe I signed my first, or it was
Wow.
2010. And so, with I'm writing two full-length novels a year, so I just want to see how that goes for
Sure.
a while.
Yeah.
But I like that the door is always open,
hmm
you know, at Levin's Part Suspense, and so we'll just see how it goes.
Well, let's talk about your new book in your new series, Storm Warning, which is book one in the Hidden Bay series. Tell us about this series and the book.
Oh, I am very excited about this series. For several years, probably as long as I've been writing, really, I have wanted to set a series on the Washington coast. And it's just really an amazing, stunning, beautiful, and just wild. A lot of it's wilderness, but it's part of the Olympic Peninsula. There's a temperate rainforest, which is gorgeous. There's it's just, lots of rocks and sea stacks and a lot of uh a lot of the atmosphere that I love to start or added to a very suspenseful novel. So I have all of my characters. The series actually centers around a storm watching lodge in a fictional bay called Hidden Bay. And so in the first book, people will come in the winter to watch the storms. And it's again a storm watching lodge, and that's actually a thing. People because
Oh,
the way
wow.
the winter storms come in and the high tides and the waves crashing on the
Oh,
rocks, and it's just really magnificent. So I have my main character is Remy Grant, and she was a former military photographer. Um, she experiences an incident while she's traveling and wakes up in a hospital, and she doesn't know what's happened to her, but she knows she's in danger. So the story opens with her already at the storm watching lodge where she's hiding because she doesn't know who's after her, what's going on, and she's hiding and she's working at a lot as the lodge manager. Um, then enter the hero, Hawk Beckett, who is staying at the lodge for just to kind of get back on his feet for a terrible thing that had happened to him. And he actually was fired from his job. And he was a previous helicopter pilot for King County, a deputy helicopter pilot. So, both characters are bringing a lot of baggage with them, a lot of
hmm
bad stuff. And here they are at this remote lodge. I mean, it's so remote. There's no cell service really. And even the satellite doesn't work that well. I know because I was there. I
Oh,
traveled there, and it's like, oh my gosh, the satellite's not even working. What's going on? It's just very much a dead zone. Now, it's hard when you're writing suspense because, so much is happening to change technology. So I don't know, 3 years or 4 years down the road, that might all be changed. But right now, there's just no way to call people, which
wow.
makes for a great place to hide. So things start ramping up when someone comes to the lodge and she knows she's in danger. And then the storm is approaching, the biggest storm of the last decade. And so here they are stuck together, and somebody's there trying to kill her. And there's all these puzzle pieces she needs to figure out. And so it just kind of keeps ramping up and ramping up. And it's a little bit of a psychological thriller in that she has lost a few days of her life and she doesn't
Mm.
remember. And so we learn a little bit in the story that um, about how our brains can lie to us, right?
hmm
Our memories can lie to us. So I kind of add all of that into it. And so hopefully it's just got a very intense, suspenseful feel and almost not quite, but I really kind of leaned into the gothic a little bit too, because we've got a storm watching lodge on the coast with a storm coming in, and it just, what I'm saying, it just
hmm
has that feel to it. And I'm drawing some of that from when I was growing up. I read like Victoria Holt and Phyllis Whitney, those kind of gothic romances. But again, it didn't lean too much into that. It's just kind of, I like to kind of mix all of it, all of the ambiance into one novel.
Yeah, the setting, you're really good at that
Yeah.
and making the setting, go, it can either go for the protagonist or work against them. And
Yes,
so you're adding that moodiness, of the setting. It's great
exactly.
though. That's what authors need to do. We sometimes forget the importance of the setting of the story, but you're really good at using, when you were mentioning the rocky coastline, the storm, a massive storm and everything. I thought, well, that's a fantastic way to build that tension.
Yeah,
Right?
and really that's I don't, I know everybody's got a different thing that inspires them, and I don't know if I'm just weird this way, but I love the setting. Whatever the setting is, I just love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to set a story here. Wherever I go, where I find a place that just seems like, oh, I could just picture my characters there, and immediately I
Mm.
know that I want to set a story in a certain setting. And so it just starts ramping up for there. So that's how it works for me. But so that's why I was so excited about this series because I've wanted to write it for so long. And my character, Remy Grant, I've actually for quite a few years, for we always are coming up with different ideas, and sometimes we pitch them, sometimes we don't, or sometimes they get rejected. And over the many years, I have had this character in my mind that was a military photographer and thought, what if, she's out there doing something and something happens and she doesn't remember. It was a very bad thing, but she got hit in the head and so she can't remember, but there's all this danger. And so I finally I'm like, yes, this is the perfect place for that character. So I plugged her into this story and it worked out great.
Fantastic. And then you have the hero, former Army pilot Hawk Beckett. What a great
Yes.
name. Tell us a little bit
Oh,
about that.
yeah. I really love his character because I really leaned into his past. He was a night stalker. They're called night stalkers. They are the helicopter pilots in the military that deliver the special ops teams and the Navy SEALs, and they can fly anywhere in the world under any
Wow.
circumstance. And it just really brought, I think, some power and strength to his character to have that as part of his background, and he's just like
Hmm.
an amazing experienced pilot. And of course, here he's bringing all this experience to his new job at King County, and some terrible thing happens. And so he's just like, oh, I got to get my life back. What's going on here? So he is at the lodge, but it all kind of works out together. And he is on board when Remy in the very first chapter. I've had so many people talk about how they love the first chapter, and I was so insecure about it, because it's the hardest thing for me is to start a book.
Mm.
It's just got to have everything, just a little bit of information, but not too much, right? It's got to have a little bit of intrigue, but not too much. It's got to be just right. And so, if you read like the very, very end of the first chapter, she's hanging at the edge of a cliff, and a complete stranger is holding on to her. She's in the hands of a complete stranger. Well, that's Hawk Beckett, and so then they meet
Mm.
like that, and so and then the story just unfolds. But I think he was just a great character and a perfect character to come together with Remy. And I never know, how they're going to work out, but just kind of you got to play around with them and see if their chemistry is right. And actually, I don't remember her name, but Remy did not start out as Remy. I don't know how you do it, but I will have a character name and I'll be writing and then I'll go, this isn't who that they are. This is their name. And so I actually had to try a few names out for her before I was like, okay, this one works. And so I don't know if you do that too, but yeah, it just seemed like it really fit. And the same for Hawk.
Yeah, sometimes I look back at my notes for a book and when I first started brainstorming, there'll be a different character name.
Yeah,
And I
right.
changed it over the years, from brainstorming. So yeah, I get it. I do.
Yeah, you have to, as you're writing the character and you get to know them and you get to feel them and you're like, okay, this is not their name. They're somebody else.
Yeah, Susie just isn't working. Remy's much better.
Something, yeah.
So how did your research go into this military experience?
Uh, well, I mean, I wouldn't call it a military novel at all. I mean, they're both just have that in their past, and they are
Sure.
bringing it to this setting. Well, like all my research, every little detail, right? I have to everything. Like, how does it feel? I did some research into World War II bunkers that are in the Olympic Peninsula, and just like just a massive amount. I spend probably more time researching a novel than I do writing it or polishing and editing it. because there's just so much that goes into it. But I think that's what makes it really fun because I think readers, they want to be surprised. They just
Mhm.
don't want to read the same thing over and over again. Give me something new. And that's how I feel as a reader. Give me something new, something
Mhm.
maybe I didn't know or I wasn't expecting or that I haven't read before. I mean, I try really hard. I know that it's not completely possible to do that because there's nothing new under the sun, but you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, so this sounds fascinating. I had no idea there was storm watching out there. That sounds remarkable. And I could definitely see why you would want to use that in a story as a setting because so many things could happen, right?
Yes, yes, and I really used that to the max as much as I could, trying to and I think and I've said this to some other people in previous interviews, but I live in a family of all boys. So my daughter, she doesn't live, she lives with her husband and their kids, but I'm just saying that in the house of boys, my two sons still live with me, my husband, and we're always
Hmm.
watching action adventure. That was my point. It's always those kind of movies, right? It's always going to
Hmm.
be those kind of guy movies, I guess. And so I feel like a lot of times I pull from because that's what I'm used to seeing. I pull from that, but I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I pull from those kind of things to just really bump up my romantic suspense into more of an action adventure kind of story, I hope.
I'm like that too. Our son lives with us too, so I'm surrounded by men.
Yes.
And we watched The Rock the other day with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
Oh,
My
yeah.
son,
I remember that
yeah,
one. Yep.
remember my son had never
Uh-huh.
seen it. And I said, "You're kidding me.
Oh,
Let's watch it." And
yeah.
it was definitely, a Michael Bay action adventure
Yes,
story.
yeah. It's
I'm
like
not,
if there's bombs, he's always got to
yeah,
blow things
right.
up.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
horrible biochemicals are going to be
Uh-huh.
launched into San Francisco, and so they have to
Yeah.
go to the Rock to stop them. And I'm not recommending it though, listeners, because it is rated R for all the reasons movies are rated R,
Right,
right?
right,
But
right.
it definitely is action packed. So I understand my son and I like those kinds of movies as well. And when I write a story like that, I start it with action immediately because I'm used to that from all the movies I've
Exactly.
seen,
So,
right?
right, that informs you. So that's the same with me. And of course, we have to remember our mostly female audience. For me, it's mostly women. I have to remember my audience, and so of course
Hmm.
I have to tone it down or I try to tone it down and just bring in the romance. But really, I'm writing the kind of book that I want to read. So
Hmm.
I think that helps to balance it out.
Well, so this is book one in your new Hidden Bay series. What can readers expect from the series, as a whole when it's completed?
Well, Perilous Tides releases in July, and then the next book is in February, and it's not titled yet, but that's the one I just turned in. And so it's really going to be pretty quick. So, getting the first book, getting that read, because you're going to want to be ready for the second book, and then the third book will be coming up really fast. And again, they're all the characters are based out of the Stormwatching Lodge, but they all bring big stuff, high
Mm-hmm.
stakes stuff. And I really love doing that where I've got a setting that is just really a nowhere setting in the middle of nowhere kind of thing.
Ooh.
But as I've said to some other people, everyone brings their stuff with them, right? But they have big
Mm-hmm.
stuff, big stuff in their life, high stakes stuff, whatever it is, and they bring that with them to wherever they're going. So I try to use that to my advantage to really increase the stakes.
I love that. And you're still going to have that setting, the dramatic setting that's adding that mystery, that tension to the
Yes.
story. Yeah, that's what your readers expect. Well, as Christian authors, though, even when we write this kind of genre, we still want to put some sort of a theme for our readers. So, what do you want readers to take away from this story?
From Storm Warning, I think it's really apropos. I included in the beginning, it's the verse Psalm 93, 3, but it's the waves roar, O Lord, the waves roar. The waves roar and crash above the sound of the surging water and the mighty waves of the sea. The Lord sits enthroned in his majesty. And so, my point, or what I want readers to take away, is no matter the massive storms brewing around you, God is still on his throne. And guess what? You are in the palm of his hand, right?
Hmm.
So in the middle of the storm. So I don't know. It just seemed so perfect. And I just kept thinking about that as I was writing the story. And I love that as a Christian novelist, all my books can have a redemptive message. And no matter how my books are not dark, they just but I try to push the edge, and then in the end there can be a redemptive message, and readers can feel good, and they can feel renewed, I guess, at the end, like, and filled with hope.
Very good. Well, Storm Warning releases February 18th, and that's right around the corner. And so folks can go and pre-order the book, correct?
Yes, they can. If they pre-order from Baker Book House, they will get the best deal out there, really 40% off and
Wow.
free shipping. And as while supplies last, they will get a specially designed vinyl sticker with that Bible verse on it, a bookmark, and a signed bookplate for me. And I am also running an additional contest, or a raffle, I guess, for pre-orders that includes a beautiful tote bag, the entire Missing in Alaska series, and a $25 Amazon gift card.
Wow. That's a great deal. Fantastic. And do they sign up for this at your website or is it through Baker?
The raffle, they can go to my website or go to like my social media, my Twitter, and I have it posted everywhere. It's on Instagram, wherever all my social media is, and they can just go to the raffle. All they have to do is enter their email address, and then if they win, that's when they prove that they pre-ordered it. They don't have to worry about it adding any of the proof when they enter the raffle. But I know people are pre-ordering it, and I hope they get a chance to win the goodies.
Oh, wonderful. And listeners, be sure to head over to elizabethgoddard.com for more information about that and sign up for her newsletter so you can know more about these upcoming releases in the Hidden Bay series.
Yes.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us about your new series and your writing process and everything. It's always wonderful to chat with you.
And thank you so much for having me, and thanks for all you do to promote Christian fiction.
That was so fun to listen to Elizabeth Goddard talk about her new book, Book One, in her new series, Storm Warning, the Hidden Bay series, set in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I've never been, but I look forward to going there and seeing, maybe go and do some storm watching. It sounds like an intriguing story. And I just love how she always uses the setting of her stories to add to that drama and tension. It's a good lesson for all of us authors out there to make sure we're doing the same thing. Her book releases February 18th, so head over to Baker Books or her website to sign up for that raffle and to order your copy today. You get it 40% off. Wow, that's amazing. And I hope that you've been encouraged to keep going on your writing journey, to make sure you put some hope in your stories, whether they're action adventure, suspense thrillers, or romance. You can always add hope for your readers because as Christian authors, that's always our goal, isn't it? And so I hope that you've been inspired. Writing is work, that's true, but it can also be great fun when you get that inspiration, that story that just has to be told. So keep going forward on your writing journey, one day at a time. Be sure and write something every day. And until next time, thanks for listening. God bless.